If you are over the age of 55 and still have sex like you did in your 20s, then here's a serious warning: you could actually die in bed before getting the chance to say goodbye. As we grow older, everyone hopes to enjoy warm, intimate moments with their life partner. Sex is not something forbidden as we age. On the contrary, it is the glue that holds couples together and a priceless source of emotional comfort. But all it takes is one careless moment, one misunderstanding, and what seems like a harmless act of love could turn into a tragedy, like sudden cardiac arrest during sex. This is a life-threatening condition, often underestimated, misunderstood, or mistaken for a stroke. Even more frightening is the fact that many people are unknowingly engaging in extremely dangerous sexual habits, especially after the age of 55, when the heart, blood vessels, and nervous system are no longer as sharp or resilient as before. Having sex after a heavy dinner, choosing risky pressure-heavy positions, or using unregulated performance-enhancing drugs, all of these can turn a romantic moment into the final one of your life. That is why, in today's video, I'm going to break down each deadly misconception and guide you through how to have sex the right way, safely, healthily, and appropriately for your age. More importantly, I will be sharing natural solutions, no pills, nothing expensive, that can still help you maintain a fulfilling love life without the fear of health emergencies. Before we begin, drop a positive affirmation in the comments below, something like, "I cherish every heartbeat and every breath I take," as a way to commit to loving and taking care of yourself. And do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you will not miss out on other helpful content like this. Let us build a safe, joyful, and deeply connected later life together, one loving moment at a time. Growing old is not the end of your sex life, but it does require us to be more aware, more in tune with our bodies, because just one small mistake, one action that seems harmless, can turn a moment of joy into a tragedy. And among all the hidden dangers, there is one silent but deadly killer that many people do not even realize is stalking them: sudden cardiac arrest during sex. What makes it terrifying is that it often targets those who still think they are fit, but in truth, their heart can no longer handle the same intensity as when they were young. During sex, especially at the peak of excitement, the sympathetic nervous system is highly stimulated. The heart rate skyrockets and blood pressure shifts rapidly. Blood rushes toward the pelvic area, drastically reducing the flow to the brain. If someone already has hardened arteries, a weak heart, or undiagnosed arrhythmia, the body can be overwhelmed in just a few seconds. The heart stops, the lungs shut down, consciousness fades, and death can happen almost instantly without emergency help. This type of incident often happens during situations that seem perfectly normal, like having sex after months of no intimacy, using unknown sex-enhancing drugs to bring back the spark, or trying to recreate the intensity and duration of youthful encounters. Many people are overconfident, skipping health checkups and assuming that feeling desire means they are still physically capable, but in reality, warning signs from the heart often go unnoticed. People at higher risk include men over the age of 55, especially those with heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, a history of smoking, being overweight, or suffering from sleep disorders. For them, one poorly timed or overly intense sexual encounter can be enough to turn a moment of closeness into their final goodbye. Knowing that sudden cardiac arrest during sex is dangerous is not enough. What is more worrying is that many people are still making serious mistakes in how they make love without even realizing it. So let us go over the most common and unscientific sexual habits that can easily lead to dangerous outcomes. Number 1. The proving your manhood style. Once men reach middle age, they begin to feel clear changes in their bodies, less stamina, longer recovery times, and less control over their emotions and heart rate. But instead of accepting these changes as part of natural aging, many choose to fight back. They try to prove they are still as strong as ever, still capable of dominating in the bedroom like a true warrior. And it is from this desperate effort that tragedy starts to take root. Many men secretly carry the fear of disappointing their partner, of being seen as weak, or of losing their unspoken role as the pillar of sexual life. They turn to performance-enhancing pills with unknown origins and uncontrolled dosages, just to extend a few minutes or add a bit more power, without realizing the very real toll it takes on their heart. There have been countless cases where men took such pills and just minutes into intercourse collapsed, convulsed, or suffered cardiac arrest right there in bed. Even more dangerous is what you might call a fitness illusion, where they still feel desire, still feel aroused, and therefore believe their body is fine. But desire comes from emotions, while your cardiovascular, nervous, and muscular systems may tell a completely different story. The body may stay silent at first, but when pushed past its limit, it can shut down without any warning at all. This mindset becomes even more complicated when fueled by ignorant advice from friends, constant ads for male enhancement products, or adult films featuring unrealistic characters. All of it builds invisible pressure on older men to push themselves to perform to get the job done. Number 2, the rushed and unprepared style. Another type of intimacy that seems harmless but is actually a silent danger for older adults is the rushed, unprepared, spur-of-the-moment kind. Some people hoping to please their partner or not wanting to miss a rare chance will go ahead with sex, even when their body is tired full from a heavy meal or after drinking alcohol, all in an effort to keep the spark alive. But this forced effort can become the trigger for a series of health emergencies that may unfold right in the middle of the act. When you have just eaten, especially a meal high in protein and fat, your body is focused on digestion. At this point, blood is concentrated in your stomach and intestines, so your heart has to work harder to keep circulation going. If at the same time you jump into a physically and emotionally demanding activity, like sex, your heart is suddenly overloaded. Now add alcohol to the mix, a vasodilator that disrupts blood pressure, and things can quickly spiral out of control. There have been many documented cases of people fainting, having seizures, or suffering cardiac arrest during sex, and they all had one thing in common. They got intimate when their bodies were simply not ready. No warm-up, no health check, no listening to warning signs of fatigue. All of it leads to a domino effect with unpredictable consequences. Number 3, the silent pressure style. Another very common yet rarely discussed type of intimacy is what I call the silent pressure style. This is not about pushing physical limits, but emotional ones. Many people, especially older men, feel a sense of duty when it comes to sex, treating it as an obligation rather than a source of joy. They no longer feel the same excitement, their body does not respond the way it used to, yet they keep forcing themselves, afraid of letting their partner down or being seen as weak. This silent struggle is what truly wears down the body. When someone has sex, just because they feel they should, rather than because they truly want to, the entire experience becomes a tug-of-war between mind and body. The heart is pushed, the nervous system is strained while the emotions stay cold and unengaged. The body is begging for rest, but the mind is determined to get the job done. What makes this type of pressure even more dangerous is that it is often deeply hidden. No complaints, no conversations, just awkward smiles and quiet endurance. But the longer this goes on, the more it becomes a mental burden, leading to nervous exhaustion, sleep disorders, mild depression, and of course making the body more vulnerable during a poorly timed sexual encounter. Number 4. The movie copycat style. Plenty of older adults are still influenced by idealized images from films, especially adult movies. They get caught up in unrealistic standards lasting for tens of minutes, performing complicated positions, even switching roles like trained actors. And instead of enjoying a sexual experience that suits their real emotions and physical condition, they turn it into a test of stamina and flexibility when their body simply no longer has the strength to meet those demands. The truth is, most of what you see in films is the result of editing camera tricks and staged performances. A real body at age 60 or 70 cannot defy gravity like it could at 25, and certainly cannot handle repeated intense movements for extended periods without serious consequences. Trying to do complex moves like lifting your partner's full weight, deep bends or constant position changes can put huge stress on your heart damage, your joints, and exhaust your nervous system. Not to mention, if you already have underlying conditions like arthritis, back pain, or high blood pressure, the risks are even greater. Even more importantly, this type of sex creates invisible pressure, forcing yourself to perform well, like in the movies, instead of letting your emotions guide the moment. And when you cannot reach that unrealistic standard, it is easy to feel disappointed, insecure, or even confused about your own abilities. As a result, instead of bringing two people closer, sex becomes an exhausting and stressful experience. Understanding the common mistakes in sexual activity is just the first step. To make intimacy no longer something to worry about but a true source of joy in your later years, the most important thing is to learn how to love again gently, wisely, and in a way that matches the reality of your current heart and health condition. In this stage of life, every hand you hold, every loving glance, every moment of intimacy carries a different weight. It is no longer a burst of instinct like in your youth, but rather the result of companionship, deep understanding, and mutual care. But to make sex a true emotional gift, not a hidden health threat older adults need, to relearn something that seems simple, choosing the right time, the right mindset, and the right way to connect. The most ideal time for intimacy in old age is early in the morning. After a full night of rest, the body is refreshed, the nervous system is stable, and your mood is often far better than at the end of a long day. This is when blood pressure and heart rate are at more balanced levels with fewer fluctuations. And for men, testosterone, the hormone essential for sexual desire, tends to be at its peak in the morning. That is why making love during this time allows both the body and emotions to align naturally without placing too much strain on the heart or respiratory system. On the flip side, having sex at night, after a long, tiring day, a heavy meal or a few drinks is like putting your body through a double stress test. Your stomach is still digesting, your heart is working harder to pump blood to multiple organs, and your nervous system may be fatigued or overly stimulated. This creates the perfect environment for unexpected health emergencies, especially for those with existing cardiovascular issues or high blood pressure. Besides timing your mental and emotional state before intimacy is what truly determines the quality of the connection. Sex at this age is not a competition about who is stronger or more enduring. There is no need to rush or jump into things like lights off and done. Instead, let emotions lead the way through the simplest of gestures, a gentle hug from behind a soft stroke of the hair, or a kind, caring question. These seemingly small actions are actually the most effective warm-ups for both body and mind. They relax the nervous system, stabilize breathing, and place the heart in a safe state. Once you are engaged in intimacy, choosing the right position becomes especially important. In later years, avoid positions that require too much strength, place pressure on the chest, or involve intense movement. One of the gentlest and safest positions is lying on your side, where the person underneath can control the pace, manage their breathing, and adjust the level of intimacy to match their comfort. Not only does this reduce strain on the heart and lungs, but it also allows both partners to truly feel each other through skin-to-skin contact, deep breathing, and slow, steady rhythms. Most importantly, do not make orgasm the only goal. When sex becomes solely about getting there, you unintentionally create pressure rather than connection. At this stage in life, fulfillment is not about the climax, but about how both of you enjoy the journey. That warm hug afterward, the tender look, the shared moment of quiet. These are the real highlights of intimacy in old age. Once you understand how to make love safely and age appropriately, the next step is to nourish your health from the inside out. Because you do not need medications to improve your love life, there are natural, effective solutions that can make it better every single day. One of the strongest foundations for maintaining stamina and flexibility is regular exercise. Just 20 to 30 minutes per day of simple movements can make a noticeable difference. One of the most effective exercises for older adults is the Kegel exercise, which targets the pelvic floor muscles. These muscles help control urination, support the reproductive organs, and play a major role in sexual performance. The beauty of Kegels is that they require no space or special equipment. You can do them while reading a book, watching television, or even waiting for your coffee to brew. In addition, gentle exercises like walking, yoga, meditation, and deep breathing all help improve blood circulation, lower blood pressure, stabilize your nerves, and naturally boost your hormone levels. When you breathe properly, oxygen is delivered evenly to your brain and heart, helping the nervous system relax and allowing the body to recover more quickly. People who practice meditation or yoga regularly tend to have more stable testosterone levels, lower stress, and a greater ability to maintain emotional well-being, which is the foundation for a fulfilling and lasting sex life. Nutrition is the second but equally important factor. You do not need expensive supplements, just include science-backed libido-friendly foods in your daily meals. Pumpkin seeds are rich in zinc, which is essential for testosterone production. Avocados are loaded with healthy fats and vitamin E, which help increase blood flow to the sexual organs. Boiled eggs provide easy-to-digest protein and help regulate hormones. Pomegranates, often called nature's Viagra, are packed with antioxidants that improve circulation. And of course, salmon, with its abundance of omega-3 fatty acids, is a gift to your heart, which in turn supports your sexual health. On the other hand, stay away from the silent saboteurs that slowly drain your energy, refined sugar-fried foods, and alcohol. These cause inflammation in your blood vessels, disrupt metabolism, and burden your liver, all of which are long-time enemies of sexual wellness. Alcohol might give a short-term boost in arousal, but long-term abuse leads to reduced testosterone and erectile dysfunction. The third factor, often the most decisive, is your mental and emotional well-being. A person who gets enough sleep, maintains a regular routine, knows when to rest, and avoids stress, will naturally have a healthier hormone system, stronger immunity, and better emotional control. Never forget, sexual desire and the ability to climax do not come from your body alone. They also come from your mind. When you are tense, it is hard to feel connected. When you are anxious, your heart cannot find a steady rhythm. Staying calm and relaxed is the best way to ensure your body cooperates in those special moments. And finally, the most important point, avoid relying on prescription drugs or unverified supplements. Quick fixes often come with hidden costs you never see coming: liver and kidney strain, hormonal imbalances, or psychological dependence. Do not trade a few minutes of performance for the smooth inner system your body has spent years maintaining. True endurance comes from discipline and the right kind of care, not from shortcuts. Sex in old age is not wrong, and it is not something to fear. What is dangerous is clinging to old expectations in a body that has changed without listening to it. Sudden cardiac arrest during sex is a wake-up call that intimacy at this age requires more awareness, more understanding, and above all, a slower, more loving form of togetherness. We have now walked through the common mistakes many people make without realizing, learned about the dangerous mechanics of sudden cardiac arrest during sex, and explored how to make love safely, wisely, and joyfully. And what we have discovered is this: true happiness in physical intimacy during old age does not come from pushing limits. It comes from respecting your body, taking care of your health every day, and loving with genuine tenderness and grace. Remember this: you do not have to perform like you did at 30. What matters most is that you still have each other, the chance to connect, to hold hands, to share soft, meaningful touches. A warm embrace, a knowing glance, a gentle caress, these can be far more precious than the perfect sexual performance. And before you leave this video, leave a positive comment below like, "I choose to love smart, safe and fully as a promise to yourself and your own happiness." If you found this content helpful, do not forget to like and subscribe so we can meet again in more meaningful real-life and valuable discussions. Let us build a later life that is not just healthy, but rich in physical connection, emotional peace, and deep, lasting love.